So, what I do in this class is a very, what I call short and sweet, is that I will demonstrate a class, demonstrate an activity, and then I'll guide you guys through it. And then I will talk about how to use it and the science behind it. So there's a whole lot just kind of jammed in there. So I think, Stephanie, when we did the labyrinth, the last class, correct?
We did the labyrinth, and then we've done the reflective circle,
Okay, thank you.
which you said to remind you
Okay,
a bit about it.
okay. I will see if I can get my brain back there, but we're gonna start. So today it's gonna look like I'm going way, 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 way back, Stephanie, to the beginning. And in some ways I am, because what I'm really wanting to do is cement the understanding that we can think about changing our mind thoughts, but if you do it in an applied way, then you include your physical body, in which case it is far more effective than just saying, oh, I'm fine, or I deserve love. But the first two activities in the class are just scribble and then circles and lines. And what it comes from is the fact that everything around us, everything we see, is made up of a combination of circles, curved lines, straight lines, and dots.
Okay.
Not a single thing on this planet is not made. So if you can draw those, you can draw anything. You just have to have the discipline to get there. So the thing that I was thinking about as I was preparing for class was that the globe at this point is just in such a mess. And what is really important is for us to learn how to not get entangled with it. So our body is designed to entrain, or another way of putting it is synchronize itself with its environment. But we have two environments. We have the external and we have the internal. So all of these activities are designed to help you activate the internal environment, magnify it, strengthen it, so that you can be encapsulated and not get entangled or affected by the incredible nonsense that's happening outside.
Wow.
Okay? All right.
Yeah.
So, Stephanie, when you were doing the labyrinth, did you just do it with your dominant hand, or did you do it with both dominant and non-dominant and both together?
I did both. I did one at a time. I don't think I did two together.
Okay. All right. So I'm just trying to piece things together here so that we can bring Tammy in the situation. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to do a very brief activity. It's the very first one in the I Create What I Believe program. It's called Just Scribble. Now, what this is about is really helping you go inward and discover the subtleties of your inner environment. So when you're doing the activity, I want you to keep your eyes closed so that you are not getting any input from the outside. Then the other is I want you to pay attention to your breath. But the main thing I want you to pay attention to is what movement actually gives you the most pleasure. And I'll tell you why after we're on the other side of it. So right now, how I would do the activity, you can do it two ways. you can start the activity by taking 3 deep breaths. And after the 3rd deep breath, that you allow. Remember, I'm saying the word allow. I'm not saying do, I'm not saying make, I mean, any of that. Allowing is very different. So you allow your non-dominant hand to scribble anything it wants, but pay attention to what shaped lines. Is it a curved line? Is it a circle? Is it a horizontal line, a vertical? What kind of line
Okay.
brings you in? What it does is it brings you into your inner environment, but what's also doing it is activating your mind. And that's what we want. And so, and why do I say what feels the best? It's because when you activate that part of you, your brain automatically dumps oxytocin and dopamine into the system. And
Okay.
those are the feel-good drugs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the good stuff. Okay. So I'm going to do like a couple seconds worth of the activity. So I would close my eyes. Remember, keep them closed.
Okay.
And then I'm not going to do the 3 deep breaths, but I'm going to I'm here, my eyes are closed, and I'm waiting for a pulse or a sensation that directs me. And I'm going to pay attention to, what shape line does this hand like? As it turns out today, it likes the circles and counterclockwise. Soon as you, and I'm just wanting you just get a brief touch in here. And
Okay.
so then I want you to keep your eyes closed, put your crayon or your pencil in your dominant hand, and do the same thing. You go in, you wait, you allow that part of that hand to scribble anything it wants. And you'll notice it could be the same or it could be very, very, very different. And as soon as you have a clue of that, then before you open your eyes, ask yourself, did you get more pleasure, or what was the feelings that were engaged when you did your non-dominant versus your dominant? And open your eyes when you're done.
Okay. Non-dominant first.
Non-dominant. So start with your non-dominant hand. Take 3 deep breaths or not. And then allow the non-dominant hand to scribble any shaped line it wants. You're looking for what makes your whole system happier. What movement? And as soon as you have just a small clue, you don't have to get, a whole book here. Just a small clue, then move the crayon or pencil over into your dominant. We started with the non-dominant, and then we go to the dominant. And then you allow that part to also show you what shaped lines help it stay in touch with your inner environment.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yep.
You ready, Stephanie?
Yes.
Okay, good. Great. So was this any different for you than any other time that you've done it, or is it the same? Which hand?
I think, yeah, my non-dominant hand was much more flowy and bigger, and then when I moved to the dominant, it just really just wanted to start very small and straight. And then it gradually became larger as it sort of freed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you see that same pattern in you when you're out in the world?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Just start little, and yeah, I'd say
You
so.
start little, and that, the other part is more flowy.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I mean, if I showed you mine, first on my non-dominant was a circle, but it was counterclockwise. I tried to go clockwise, I could not go. And then
Yeah.
when I did with the dominant hand, it was, we're not doing circles,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know if you can see
yeah,
mine.
yeah, lift it up a little higher, a little higher. Yes, yes, yeah. Oh my goodness. Fantastic. And so know that when we are drawing, we are activating energy. We're changing energy in ourselves. And the whole thing is that if you can stay encapsulated and connected to the conscious mind or your inner environment, different wordage, same thing, that the madness of the world does not have to make your life crazy. It can be painful, it can be, hard, it can be a struggle at times, but that's different than disconnecting from your conscious mind. Because when we're talking about the conscious mind, we're also talking about our soul. So I think I've mentioned in class before that Dr. Gabor Mate had said that trauma is when we experience trauma, it's not the situation. It's what happens in us to actually endure or handle the situation, what we do inside ourselves. So what we're doing inside of ourselves is we are disconnecting from our soul. We are disconnecting from our conscious mind. But when you can bring yourself into the present moment, as Eckhart Tolle says, be in the now, is the when we can be there, that we have the ability to create whatever we want. I mean, no, it does not. We don't have these little magic wands that goes bibbity babbity boo and it all goes away, but it is changeable. Okay, Tammy, did you gain any insights with yours? Was it the left or the right?
It was the right hand was more favorable to me, and it was circles, counterclockwise, I guess.
Mhm.
And my left hand was very rigid. It wanted to go up and down and like no movement, just like up and down. And it wasn't really that fun.
Oh, was there anybody in your upbringing who had that kind of energy?
Yeah, a few.
Okay, so what the reason I bridged over there is that if we don't like the feeling of a certain movement, pay attention, because your body is showing you movement that has been counterproductive to you blossoming. So
Wow.
it's really about finding that key. Does that make sense to you, Stephanie?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Very
So
cool.
I have a different image up here today. And this is called constructive interference and destructive interference. And these are energy phenomena, is a simple way of putting it. And that if I was to drop 2 pebbles into water, that when they hit the water, I'm going to 2 pebbles, same size, release in the same time, they hit the water, they make concentric circles. And at one point, they start crossing each other. And so when they are the same and we drop them the same, they're same size, those concentric circles become constructive, meaning that when those waves of energy meet each other, they enhance and become stronger and bigger. Okay, and the same way, if we drop 2 pebbles, but not at the same time, just one little change, that when those waves of water or energy cross each other, that they erase each other. It
Uh-huh.
becomes, so you see here, this is here, it's the same, and you end up having, can you see this chart?
I'm gonna try to go to bigger view.
Okay, so here, so you have
Just,
bigger C. Okay, and down here, and this instructive is that they're not lined up, so at the end, they erase each other. Okay, I want to take a big leap here. Can you see that, Stephanie, or do you need me to move the chart closer?
it's a little bit far away, but I get it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, that's better.
That good? All right. So I want to take a big leap with that and show you that when you're doing the scribbling, that's like the simplest thing, but when you're doing one of the activities, you are in the process of trying to create constructive interference. You're trying to bring all of your system together, synchronized into one force. So then you have, clarity, you have more power, you have more force, you have the ability to change your life. And so just remembering what shaped line made you feel better can create that. In the same way, if you're not doing that and the environment outside of you is trying to, you're getting pulled out of balance, then, or somebody's not seeing you, somebody's not responding to you, somebody's not connecting with you, they're not here. They're not here, they're in remote control, they're just in that remote place, that you end up feeling not seen, not valued, not loved. Now, those feelings you have, they don't have to even be accurate. It's how your system has read the situation. And so that's where we become, frightened or scared to, kind of push the envelope or move the guardrails out there a little farther and really, explode into being ourselves. So what I'm saying here is that even doing something as simple as scribbling, if your intent is to bring yourself into yourself, we're not just scribbling mindlessly. We're doing it with a purpose. Okay? So I think what I want to do is this kind of a big jump here. But I want us to go up to the labyrinth again.
Mhm.
And the reason is that I find this one activity to be very, 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 very powerful in terms of helping pull us in. So like sometimes I'm in a situation that it's really hard to stay centered on myself, be really hard, be clear. And it becomes more difficult as we become more sensitive because we end up feeling other people's stuff. But once again, we have to learn how to differentiate between our energy and what the changes we can make in ourselves and somebody else's. Do you understand what I just said?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean, because you think about this, a share of our life we spend occupied in other people's energy field. That's why I thought it was really, the pandemic was amazing, was just like, because the average person, their energy field, at a resting state is about 6 feet. So for the whole period of time, everybody was needing to learn how to keep people out of their energy. Okay, so the last question so far? Nope,
Nope.
nope. Okay.
Nope.
All right, so the labyrinth, one of the main things that the labyrinth teaches you or has the capacity to teach you is your breathing, is learning how, when you're breathing, when you're not breathing, how you're breathing, and how that affects everything. So the activity seems really simple. We're going to do a spiral. You can do it clockwise or counterclockwise. But the trick is that you can only move your crayon or pencil on an exhalation. So you take a deep breath, or you take 3 deep breaths, and then after the last one, you form your mouth in a way that you can make a little sound as you're moving, so you can track your breath. But here we go. I'm going to show. I ran out of breath. What do I have to do? I have to take another breath. Ran out of breath. I have to take another breath. I want you to spiral in 3 times, and then I want you to spiral out. And somebody once said, well, why do we start on the outside and come in? I said, well, usually, I'm all over the place if I need this activity. This activity can take me from feeling like I'm a ball in a racquetball court versus just being able to be really centered and reasonably clear. So what I want you to do is, and when you do this, you have a choice of 2 things, of either keeping your eyes closed or keeping them open. I would recommend in the beginning, keeping your eyes closed, because that's just gonna drive your awareness to your sensory output, okay?
Okay.
All right, so take your 3 deep breaths or not, and get a breath. And remember, as you exhale, you want to keep a sound there, because it's, in some ways, it's the only way you're going to know when you stop breathing. So do that, spiral in 3 times, and then spiral out. And as you spiral out, you can either trace your previous lines or not, do your own. But the thing is moving into the center and out from the center. So how was that, Stephanie?
Oh yeah, that was good. This time I did it, I've never done it before, going counterclockwise.
Uh-huh,
So I tried that.
good,
Yeah. Yeah. I find it really good. Yeah.
good. Tammy,
That's the way I chose too. I didn't realize it till she said it, but I went counterclockwise. And I found when I look at my lines, my line coming out was shorter than my line going in.
Yeah.
that's a good
think-
observation. Did you, which line was different for you, Stephanie?
Yeah, I think the same. I think coming back out was sort of quicker. I didn't go as big.
Okay,
Yeah.
so where could I mean, how did this affect you? Did you feel the effect really quickly? And if you did, how could you use it? Know that we're doing it on paper with crayons. We're not going to walk around with crayons and paper all the time, but you can do, once you learn the pattern, you can do it on the palm of your hand, you can do it on your leg, you can do it anywhere that, because your system has already showed you, you're not teaching the body something else, you're learning what the body does naturally.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And what I do is I take this back to infancy, is that when, I've noticed that when an infant, and this is a child who is not upright yet, is not standing or walking, so they're still considered an infant. When they are just happy, they flail, but their arms move in a different pattern than when they're upset. They will flail in both instances, but sometimes it's like this. And we do this automatically without thinking. It's like, no, 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 no. And watch what your body is telling you. And I mean, to me, it's like so fascinating to just really see that if I listen to my body, if I watch the motions, that has a huge, huge, huge impact on me. And it means that I can make changes in my life. So Stephanie,
Hmm.
do you, yeah, what?
Oh, no, I was just waiting for your question.
I was waiting for your answer.
Yeah. I can give you any sort of answer if you want. Where would I use it? Is that what you're
Yeah,
going to?
yeah. I mean, where would you use it? I mean, I know we have covered this territory before, but I'm really wanting to say every time I do this, and you need to realize
Yeah.
that I started developing this program in 2003. And so every time I do it, it's different. It changes. So it's not like, one size fits all. It's really about understanding the subtleties and the color and the texture of that inner environment. I mean, because you're doing that is you're really getting to see your soul. You're getting to see, that no, maybe you're not a worry word. Maybe you just, care so much for people, or you're just really sensitive. So you're picking up a lot of stuff. So the toolkit you need, Stephanie, or you need, Tammy, or I need in order to not go crazy with the way the world is now, is different. And it can be slightly different in each day. And that's why I brought in the whole thing about the constructive and destructive is you're looking for phrases to help you create the constructive, which means you're pulling everything together and you are becoming more aware of things that are destructive, things that help you disconnect from yourself or encourage that. We all have somebody in our life or situation in our life that, can really, bring us to our knees, so to speak. And, it's, it's not about fighting that. It's about becoming more. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good, good, good. Okay, so would you, we're at 5 o'clock, but I would be willing to go a little bit longer if you guys want to do one more version of the activity.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All good.
Okay, so let's do it. So we did a circular spiral here. And what I'm wanting you to do is what I refer to as a straight line spiral. And so that's where, I would start, either take the breaths or not. And I would do a spiral that is made up of straight lines. And then you get to the center and then you go back out again. Now, one of the tendencies I have found is that because we're doing these straight lines, our mind can go, oh, okay, so I'm going to take a breath here and I'm going to take a breath here and I'm going to take a breath here. It's like, well, that's nice, but you're not really listening to what your body wants to do. So once again, start here, you take a breath and you go as far as that breath will take you, which could be only to here, or it could be around the corner and halfway down here, or it could be at the corner. But you're wanting to pay attention to, it's like you're going down the hill on a sled and you want to keep your body parts in on the sled. You don't want to lose your boots. You don't want to lose your hat. You don't want to lose your gloves on the way down. You really don't.
Okay.
So what you want to do is find, using this spiral is really become more aware of how it feels when you are in your conscious mind. That's the whole point of all of this, is really in strengthening your awareness and the ease of staying there, staying in your conscious mind. But you want to strengthen the awareness of when you're in there and when you're not.
Okay.
And both are important. Okay, so do the straight line spiral. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and we'll talk a few more minutes. So open your eyes when you're ready to talk. Okay, Stephanie, how did you like the circular one or the straight one better today?
I think I like the circular one because I feel more relaxed with it. The square one, I was thinking a bit more about where I was going. However, I was just reflecting on that and thinking, well, also maybe it made me focus more. So I'd
Yeah.
like to play with that a bit more and just see whether that, how the two feels. Yeah.
Right, that's a great observation, a real good one, is that, I'm aware of that when I do straight lines,
Yeah.
that, and they impact my system in a completely different way. And the horizontal ones, are completely different than the vertical ones. And what this is all based on is Tai Chi and Qigong.
Oh,
So, you have all of the movements and, this is like an ancient practice. And so instead of making you learn the whole practice and practice it for many years, you're going to extract out the motion, the movements that help you get back inside yourself.
Mm.
And yeah, so pay attention. One of the things I would like you guys to do is, just pay attention between now and the next class, which is in 2 weeks, is do you have more circular days to have more straight line days? And I always say, that, these are decisions or thoughts you have at the end of the day when you're brushing your teeth. And it's like you give yourself a percentage and say, well, yeah, this was really a circular day. And I don't feel, I feel really soft. Yes, I feel a little vulnerable, but that's okay. I'm going to sleep real soon. So I'm okay there. And then you have those days where, you're brushing your teeth and wow, this was been a tough day. And I really had to learn how to hold my ground and not activate any of the patterns in my subconscious mind because they're not so good. They're not so good. So if you're going to be at the next class, then take the time to, like it say, this is like a 3-minute thing you do at the end of the day of just how did where was your energy most of the day? And because of that, how are you feeling? How are you feeling at the end of the day? I mean, I've had days where, it looks from the outside very, very, it looks lovely. And yet I've been so overstimulated, I've lost touch with myself. And so we want to be able to, we're looking for the sensations. Our body, I had a teacher many years ago that said our body has 2 minds, the one from the neck up and the one from the neck down. And the one from the neck down doesn't lie. So when you're doing these activities, it's helping you get in touch with that authentic and honest part of yourself. And helping you move from that, even when you get bumped off, off the trail, you'll get back on again. So use that. And that's about it.
beautiful.
In fact, though, I do want to say is, and this is true for you, Tammy, but if you end up doing you know, some patterns, and that you really like, bring them to class and show them. So yeah, I'm gonna really love that one that you sent me, Stephanie. The one that was was it the spirals or what?
Well, one was the spirals, and I ended up, Tammy, coloring bits of it in
Oh,
because I
nice.
found it really relaxing, like a mindful drawing.
Yeah. Yes.
And then one week we did the reflective circle, and I've become a little bit obsessed with them. When we get to do that, I hope you carry on.
Yes.
And just coloring them in, I've found really relaxing. And just
Very good,
using
yeah.
the colors. Yeah, the colors make me feel happy. And yeah,
Well, each color has a frequency to it.
yeah,
Yes.
And so when you're laying that on the paper, you are giving that energy to yourself. So it
yeah.
is, it's really, really lovely. And
Yeah, I want
so
to
yeah,
keep doing them and kind of go beyond the 3 lines. And I've just done one that I've
oh
put,
yeah,
I put it,
okay,
my mind just keeps expanding on it.
fantastic. I mean, this
Yeah.
activity he's talking about has to do with getting the two hemispheres of our brain working together, which
Yeah,
often is split when we have trauma. So, yeah, and know that, you can, I'm sure you already done that. You start out with the circle, cutting it in quarters, but you
yeah.
can do it eighths, you can do it sixteenths, you can do it 30 seconds.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And
Okay.
and what I've discovered, I mean, I've been teaching this for a long time, but that some people's minds do better. It's easier for them to break the circle into 32 different sections
Oh,
versus,
wow.
but it has to do, once again, you don't try to make yourself there. You see
Yeah.
what,
What suits?
yeah, because the gentleman I was
Yeah.
talking about, he, was like, oh, that's okay, but when he did, I mean, it's like, this is like little tiny slivers.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
but he said, oh, this is a piece of cake.
Yeah. And it
So,
does make you feel whole when you get that circle.
yes.
I do feel like I'll show you. This is the latest one I've
Oh
done.
my God. So,
Oh, that's
And I just
beautiful.
I added sort of nature things, and it
Nice.
just makes I just feel happy.
yes. Which part of the mind are you putting yourself in? The
Yeah,
con
obviously the conscious mind. Yeah.
you cannot create any place other than the conscious mind.
Yeah.
When you go into the conscious mind to create, you get to see yourself on paper. What you're doing is you are laying your frequency out there
Hmm.
and getting to actually visually see yourself.
Hmm.
And we're going to end pretty soon, but
Yeah.
when I was in school studying art many decades ago, I discovered that what happened was I was trying to do a portrait of somebody, and technically it was good, but I couldn't get the feeling of the softness and the permeability of this person. And then I suddenly realized the reason I couldn't was I wasn't there.
Hmm.
So what I learned in that moment, it's what's happening inside of us is what goes on the paper, and it's a feedback.
Hmm.
So when, show
Hmm.
your picture again, Stephanie.
Oh, because I think the lines and the shape just give me, instead of looking at a white piece of paper and I don't know what to draw and I've felt stuck, it's kind of like giving me a framework to just,
That's
yeah,
yeah. And you know what?
yeah,
That is true of all art, is you need a framework, you need a template, And
Yeah,
these are what I went
And-
into all these different techniques and simplified it to the point that a 3-year-old can do it. It doesn't mean,
yeah,
I mean, so yes, it's so simple.
yeah.
It's incredibly powerful. And
Good.
So
scribbling, you can get to know yourself.
yeah, so Tammy, I'd encourage you, if you have got anywhere on your table, just to leave your paper and crayons or pencil just out.
Okay.
Then I just do it when I pass by. I'll just do it even for 2 minutes. So that's what I would encourage.
So
Okay.
perfect. I was
Yeah.
gonna tidy up my desk and I was gonna tuck them all away in a drawer. Now
No,
I'm just gonna
Don't
leave them lie
tidy
there.
your desk.
No, they go on the breakfast table. They're on the breakfast table or the dinner table, whatever.
Yeah, just leave them out
Nice.
if you can.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And,
Oh.
and if this is exciting to you,
Mhm.
then get your friends to join us because
Awesome.
it's free.
Yeah.
And every single person that learns how to balance themselves in this, situation, helps heal the planet.
Nice.
Okay.
I love it. Yes.
Oh,
I will
guys-
bring more with me.
Good. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. And I look,
Thank you.
yes, oh yes, we love our pencils and our colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and pay attention, for you, it might not be so much the shaped lines, but the color.
Yeah.
The shaped lines bring forth the color in you. And anyway, we can go on and on
Yeah.
and on.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys in
All
2
right.
weeks.
Okay,
Things
thank
Okay.
you
you.
want to share, and
Okay.
it's good to work with you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.